AT&T for the life of your business. By Dunkin' Donuts, where it's always worth the trip. And by Lincoln Mercury. See your local dealer today and let them prove it.
You're looking at Julian Tavares, the new pitcher and the fourth pitcher of the afternoon for the Cleveland Indians. All the relievers in this series for the Indians have been the pitchers of record. We told you Poole, the loser, on Thursday. Tavares picked up the win on Friday night when he shut out the Red Sox on one hit over the 2 1/3 innings that he worked against them. He picked up that one win that he has. 5 hits given up in 10 2/3 innings on the year. The 21-year-old right-hander. Just a couple of base on balls and a 9 strikeouts, making his 8th appearance.
Wonder if he still has any hearing left after Take Me Out to the Ball Game was played at a deafening volume coming through the speaker in center field.
Third baseman, Tim Nelson.
Red Sox with a 2-run lead. It's a precarious lead given the recent history. They'd like to add to it, certainly, in the bottom of the 7th as Tim Naring leads off against Tavares. And Tim looked at a strike on the inside corner. Tim's had a perfect day. A single, a double, a walk, and a run scored. Double held between Lofton and Ramirez in right center when neither one of them took charge on a ball that should have been caught. Tim benefited. He's now hitting .350. In the air, well hit, left field, up and gone. Second homer of the season for Tim Naring. Third of the afternoon for the Red Sox. And the Boston lead is 9-6. And welcome to the ball game, Julian Tavares.
Well, the Red Sox batters 2 times today now have come right back after the Indians have scored a couple runs or 1 run to get a little closer. And the home run has added on. One by Vaughn and now this one by Naring. His second round tripper of the year, about halfway up in the screen and left. And once again, the Red Sox lead is now 3.
And Troy O'Leary is batting for Wes Chamberlain. O'Leary's hitting .341, 15 hits, 44 at bats, including a home run. He has driven in 7. 3 for 5 this year as a pinch hitter, including a pinch hit 3-run homer in Detroit. Troy's put together a modest 3-game hitting streak. He's hit safely in 6 of his last 7. Two and 2 the count. Bill Hasselman on deck, and Ron Mayhay is due against Tavares. To left field, and Bell, middle of the warning track. 1 out.
The designated hitter, number 37, Bill Hasselman.
Bill Hasselman, like Naring, working on a perfect day and trying to keep it that way. He looked at a fastball for a strike. Bill singled to center field to pick up an RBI, his first in Red Sox uniform. He scored in that inning. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. Drove in another run with a sacrifice fly in the 5th. He's quickly behind in the count, 0-2. And the Suns back out. And Hasselman's gone on 3 pitches. 2 outs in the 7th. First strikeout for Julian Tavares.
Julian seems to have reached back and got a little extra since Naring has hit that home run off of him.
Center fielder.
And a pop-up off the bat of Leary and this sizzling heater on that outside corner.
Mayhay up the middle, base hit. And he's had a solid big league debut. He's 2 for 4. Doubled and drove in a run, scored in the second. With his first major league at bat.
This looked to be a hard split-fingered pitch here. It really didn't duck or dive as much as it should have, and Mayhay stayed right on it and nailed it right back up the middle. Second hit for the rookie in his debut. Expect to see some action from him here in the first or second pitch.
Shumpert worked at ball 1. Terry's 1 for 4, a second inning RBI double. He also scored in the inning. Red Sox lead 9-6. Mayhay at first with 2 outs. In the 7th, 1 run in this inning on the home run by Nearing. Wow. Strike. But must have just nipped the corner. 1-1 on Shumpert. Only Cookie Rojas and Frank White played more games at second base for the Kansas City Royals than Terry Shumpert.
Nobody else had a chance.
That was it. They held it down for many, many years.
Oh. They just came. They moved in when they came, didn't they?
They bought a house. They didn't rent. It was Shumpert who really ended Frank White's career when he arrived on the major league scene, took over as the everyday second baseman in 1991. Got into 144 games. He's never been much of a hitter. Talking about Shumpert, 220 big league hitter. Frank White played in 2,150 games for the Kansas City Royals. Second base, Cookie Rojas, 792. Shumpert third all-time in Kansas City history with 306 games at second base. I think O'Lean will probably move past him. Mayhay running as Shumpert fouled it away, 1-2.
Sean, I think one of the things about Shumpert, you're talking about him not being an effective big league hitter. He has just enough power maybe to be convinced that he can hit more home runs, and that kind of alters his swing a little. Even with the 2 strikes on him now, you don't see him choke up and try to slap the ball around or get it in play. He had 8 home runs last year for Kansas City in 64 games.
And he has a hit. Line drive to the left. Mayhay stops at second. And the Red Sox are still swinging in the 7th with 2 outs. Shumpert's 2 for 5. 3 hits in the inning off Julian Tavares.
Shumpert's second hit of the ball game. His first one, a very big one for the Red Sox, as he bounced one, or actually lined one out to right field. This time he gets the breaking ball when he's down in the count and hooks it on the line to left field.
"15 hits for the Red Sox, the most that they have had in a home game this year. Their season high is 17, which they did twice in that series at Detroit when they pummeled the Tiger pitchers. Mark Wiley, pitching coach at the mound. He's in his second tour of duty as pitching coach. Just came back into the dugout when Phil Regan left to become manager of the Baltimore Orioles. Paul Ossenmacher is warming up in the Cleveland bullpen. Red Sox bullpen is quiet. Larry McCoy is going to bring it into the chat. Red Sox have 9 runs on 15 hits and 1 error. Cleveland 6 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors. Tavares, the 4th pitcher for Cleveland today. Bud Black, the starter, went 2 innings plus 2 batters in the 3rd. And was knocked around for 6 runs, all earned on 9 hits. Then Jason Grimsley pitched 3 2/3 innings, gave up 2 runs, 1 earned on 2 hits. He struck out 5. Walked the man, threw a wild pitch, hit 2 batters. Jim Poole faced 1 batter and retired him. And Tavares came on to open this inning, was greeted by the home run by Nearing. Retired 2 men, then Mayhay singled, Shumpert singled. And the Red Sox trying to add to their 3-run lead with Valentin at the plate. He was hit by a pitch from Grimsley last inning. John's 2 for 3, 2 doubles, has knocked in a run.
Best way to work back at a club that you feel is trying to nail you a little bit is nail them right back. Timely base hit here would be very pleasing to Mr. Valentine.
Pena thought about a throw down to first. Shumpert wound up diving back into the bag as Sorrento was sneaking in behind him. Mayhay at second, Shumpert at first. Decent speed on the bases for the Red Sox with 2 outs. 2-1 pitch is low. 3 balls and a strike, and Mo Vaughn looms in the on-deck circle.
You'll never see Julian Tavares. In this inning, I should say. May see him in the next, not this one.
Baerga sneaks in, and Mayhay is picked off. Well, an otherwise sterling debut for Mayhay, but that's a huge mistake. 1-4 the pickoff, and that ends the inning. Red Sox settle for the 1 run on the Naring homer, and after 7 they lead 9-6.
Red Sox add.
Thousands died from his experiments.
I am Dutroux. He's a mass murderer!
One escaped.
You were exposed to dangerous levels of metrion poisoning.
Or did he?
I am afraid that it's fatal.
Now, Jetrel's back for Neelix.
I don't want that man within 10 parsecs of me!
But is he out for blood or redemption? It's an unforgettable new episode of Star Trek Voyager.
Sunday night at 7 on TV 38.
If you'd like to know why Mercury Sable is such a great value, just ask the 900,000 people who've driven one home. With a lease price like this, Mercury Sable is a great value. V6 powered front-wheel drive, dual airbags, speed control, available seating for 6, not just 5. And the list goes on, sort of like, well, a Mercury Sable. Bet you won't find more car for less. Mercury Sable at your Lincoln Mercury dealer now.
4 girls in Gloucester. Always see kids. No, young kids buying cigarettes from machines. So what do? They start a petition. They collect signatures. Lots of signatures. They take them to the city council. Revisions, lawyers, politicians. Boom. The mayor grabs his pen, signs it into law. Wheels turn. The action begins. Say bye-bye. 4 kids, they had an idea. They took control. They changed the rules. So can you.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Smooth Bush Beer and easy drinking Bush Light. By 9X, making the world of communications a whole lot simpler. And by your New England Citgo distributors, the sign of quality.
Now batting for the
Troy
Indians,
O'Leary remains in the game in right field.
Tony.
He came up as a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 7th.
Tony.
Red Sox have Ken Ryan warming up in the bullpen. And Stan Belinda is still on the mound, about to begin his 2nd inning. His first full inning, he came on with a 1-out last inning, retired both men he faced. Jim Thome leads off. Lines one slicing into the stands in left. Might be Tome's last chance to extend the longest hitting streak of his career to 13 games. He's 0 for 3 and has whiffed all 3 times. Manny Ramirez on deck, and then Paul Sorrento. Let's pause for station identification. This is the TV 38 Red Sox Network.
This is TV 38, WSBK, Boston.
Tomey chop one foul. With Bob Montgomery, Sean McDonough, our producer-director John Wilson. At Fenway Park, final game of this 4-game series. Red Sox hoping for a split of the 4-game set before they head out on a West Coast trip that begins Tuesday night in Seattle. We're next with you here on TV 38 and many of our network stations Friday night from Anaheim, the Big A. I think now the Rams aren't there anymore. They'll knock down that monstrosity out there in center field, open up that outfield fence like it used to be when it was such an appealing ballpark.
They would please no one more than me if they did.
Tomey, well-hit ball, left center. Mayhay will have to play it off the wall. His throw to second is not in time. And Tomey has extended his hitting streak with a double. And that brings the tying run to the on-deck circle for Cleveland.
Pretty good at bat by Tomey after Belinda had him on his hip early in the count. Brought off a couple tough pitches. Mayhay with just a momentary bobble right there as he came off. Remember, this man has a very good throwing arm. Maybe a lot of opposing ball clubs are not aware of that. He made it kind of a close play. Of course, Tomey's not the fastest runner in the world.
And the home run by Naring looks just a bit bigger now. Ramirez would have been up there representing the tying run, and he is on a home run tear. He's 0 for 3 today. And Tomey has hit in 13 straight games. The longest hitting streak of his career and third longest in the American League this year. Mark McGuire's streak still active heading into today at 17 games. Lee Tinsley had a 14-game streak to start the year. Ed Sprague is working on a 13-game hitting streak heading into today's action at Detroit. And now Tomey has hit in 13 in a row. The 0-2 from Belinda. Base hit on an 0-2 pitch. Tomey will score with ease. Ramirez has his first hit of the ball game and first RBI of the game, his 23rd run batted into the season. And Kevin Kennedy is on his way to the mound.
Number 11. First baseman.
Red Sox still 6 outs away from victory. Brought Ryan in Friday night to try to get 5 outs, and Ryan couldn't save it.
The breaking ball, just kind of a floater from Belinda. Stayed up high, and Ramirez reached out over that plate, slapped it into center, and drove in his teammate, Jim Tomey, from second. Still nobody out here in the 8th. Ramirez seemed to be covering an awful lot of that plate. Most of the balls that he has seen from the middle of the plate out, he's getting to without an awful lot of problems, and got to find some way to maybe try to keep him a little more honest, get him to move his feet a little bit with some pitches on the inside.
So Ken Ryan comes in, trying to bounce back from the shellacking that the Indians put on him on Friday night. Stan Belinda pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 hits and 1 run. He's responsible for Ramirez.
Number 50.
And as Ryan comes in, we'll check the scores in the American League. Toronto still leads Detroit 1-0. Al Leiter and Danny Cox have combined to shut out Detroit to this point. They're in the bottom of the 7th. Yankees, behind Sterling Hitchcock, are shutting out Baltimore 5-0. Bottom of the 7th at Yankee Stadium. California has a 3-0 lead on Chicago in the top of the 6th at Chicago. Mike Bilecki, the California starter. Seattle and Minnesota, it's 3-2 Mariners. In the 8th, Pedro Munoz has homered for the Twins, his 5th, a solo home run. Oakland leads Kansas City 3-1. That's in the top of the 6th at Kauffman Stadium. Texas scored 3 runs in the 2nd. They now lead Milwaukee 3-0 in the 3rd. Kenny Rogers has now pitched 19 straight scoreless innings, a Texas record for a left-handed pitcher. In the National League, it's Philadelphia leading the Mets 4-3. Mets trailed 4-0 after an inning. They've been fighting back ever since. Atlanta beat Florida 5-1. The Marlins managed only 2 hits. John Smoltz the winner to go to 3-2. Colorado leads Cincinnati 2-0. Bottom of the 5th at Riverfront. It's Montreal 2 and Houston nothing. Bottom of the 5th at Houston. Later on, St. Louis at San Francisco, Chicago at Los Angeles, and Pittsburgh is at San Diego. It's another check of the Dunkin' Donuts scoreboard. And now we'll check the numbers on Ken Ryan as he is in a save situation.
Well, just as down as his outing was on Friday, he gets the job here done this afternoon. Can turn just as bright for him. Kenny Ryan simply was trying to get these Cleveland hitters out with his third best pitch on Friday night. That's all there was to it. Made some mistakes, got the ball up with what is they're calling a cut fastball, and Ramirez and Albert Bell just lost the ball on him. Consequently, he was charged with the 6 runs on 4 hits and an inning and a third. Through 41 pitches to get 4 outs.
Needs to get 6 outs today. Nobody out in the 8th. Tying run at the plate, Paul Sorrento. Ahead in the count, 2-0. We talked about it the other night. We've talked about it many times in the past when Ryan has pitched. It doesn't seem he throws his fastball enough. And that was particularly perplexing when you hear Ken say after the game that he felt he had good velocity in his appearance on Friday night. If that's the case, why did he fool around with so many off-speed pitches?
First of all, I think a cut fastball is for a guy who's reached his maybe downside of his career. 32, 33 years old, you need something that's a little trickery. You throw 94 miles an hour, you don't need any tricks. On top of that, he's got a pretty good curveball. And a cut fastball and a curveball is not a combination, I think, that gets along well. And I think the curveball suffers once you start putting a cut fastball in your selection of pitches.
Ryan has fallen behind Sorrento 3-1. Paul has already walked twice today in addition to his home run back in the 2nd. And that's well hit. Right field. O'Leary running out of room. Home run, Paul Sorrento. His 2nd of the ball game. Baerga has also hit 2 today for Cleveland. And Ryan is hearing the boos from this big crowd at Fenway. The Indians have tied the game at 9. For the 3rd straight day, the bullpen has let the Red Sox down in a big way against the Cleveland Indians.
Ryan behind in the count. He's got to come with a fastball now in a good part of the strike zone, and he does. Sorrento, who has been really wielding a home run bat, once again, the homer is gone. As a matter of fact, the first home run he hit this year with nobody on was back in the 2nd. This one, with a man on, 9s are shared by the Indians and the Red Sox. 9 runs apiece.
And the Indians have hit 4 home runs today. So Belinda charged with 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning on 2 hits. Ryan, 1 run on 1 hit. Wayne Kirby batting for Pena. Tony went 2 for 3 today, a couple of singles. Kirby hitting a .190, 4 for 21 this season, no homers, 2 runs batted in, 1 for 7 as a pinch hitter. Been the most frequently used pinch hitter for Mike Hargrove. 9-9 the score. The hits 15-13 in favor of Boston. Certainly the bullpen will be the focus again today, but you also have to look back, as was the case on Friday night, at all the missed opportunities to score for the Red Sox. They've left 7 men on. They've hit into 3 double plays. Of course, Mayhay got picked off last inning when they had a chance perhaps to add to their run total. Now it's Jeff Pierce warming up.
Well, for this team to be successful, they're going to have to find somebody that can grab that closing role and hang on to it, whether it's a Belinda or whether it's a Ryan.
Ken Ryan seems to have the pitches to be able to do it. This is really the first time that he's gone into the season in his career expected to be that closer. 2-2 pitch. Up and away. And again, he was going deep into counts. 3-1 with Sereno when he hit the homer. Full count now with the second batter, Kirby. Kenny Lofton is on deck. And he had a little extra on that. Decided to get a little mad at himself as he blew that one by Kirby for the first out of the inning.
You can almost see the smoke trailing this pitch.
Center fielder, Kenny Lofton.
It might be an overstatement, but you have to think this could be a critical point of the season for Ken Ryan. This has the makings of something that will linger if it continues to go poorly. Lofton spills one down the left field line. He'll try for two. Greenwell's throw is late. Lofton has a double. And the Indians have the go-ahead run in scoring position with one out.
Red Sox have been able to handle Lofton a little bit in some ways today. He was on base 5 times on Friday night. He winds up on second for his second base running event this afternoon. Anytime a guy with Lofton speed, though, gets it that close to a line, whether it's a right field line or a left field line, most of the time it's going to be a stand-up double for him. Greenwell did make that a little bit close, because you remember, Fenway Park's not quite as deep as a lot of other ballparks, so the left fielder gets to the ball a little quicker. But anything toward the line for Lofton is almost a conceded double.
First time Kenny has gotten it out of the infield today, but he has already scored a run. That's his second hit. He has already stolen a base today. He's driven in a run. He's a factor even when he's not much of a factor, if that makes any sense. Vizquel, the batter. He's been a factor today. 2 single, a walk, and an RBI on a sacrifice fly. He has scored a run. He's been a very pesky hitter in this series. He had the big hit on Friday night in the 9th when the Red Sox pitched around Lofton to get to him. Put Lofton on base, representing the go-ahead run. Vizquel single to tie the game. Lofton dancing around at second. Ryan off-speed pitch, line to short. And Kenny Ryan and the Red Sox could use that. Fortunate that the double play resulted on the line drive that was hit right at Valentin by Vizquel. That ends the inning, but the Indians got 3 runs to tie it, 4 hits in the inning. The big hit, the 2-run homer by Sereno, that tied the score at 9 as we head to the bottom of the 8th.
Earl! Hey, Randy, what's new?
New? How about 7 new tractors with shaft drive in every model? Auto gear transmission or auto hydro?
Introducing the all-new Cub Cadet Series 2000 tractor line. In all, over 50 new features in every model.
Hey, Randy, what's new? The steering, the seat, the clutch, the gas cap, the PTO switch, the headlights, the ignition.
Decaf.
Oh, they got these new tires, you know, with these grooves in them that
All
improve
in the Series 2000 from Cub Cadet.
History teaches primordial perspiration shouldn't mess with one's style. Consider this powerful discovery. Right Guard Pure Power Clear Gel. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff, protecting one powerfully. For when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right Guard Clear Gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Plymouth Neon, cab-forward design in one of the hottest new small cars on the road. Now priced around $10,000. If you want to see what's new, at Chrysler Plymouth New England, we'll show you what's new.
Say the Red Sox Clubhouse Shops has the real stuff. They have authentic jerseys, caps, apparel, and memorabilia. They're your headquarters for Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, and NCAA products. Visit the Red Sox Clubhouse Shops at the Burlington Mall, the Emerald Square Mall, and the North Shore Mall.
The new catcher for Cleveland is Scooter Tucker. They hit for Tony Pena in the top of the 8th inning.
Lofton at second here. Valentin kind of bouncing around, and the ball smartly hit, but behind Lofton, and Valentin right there kind of dancing around. That ends the inning. And here's Valentin to lead it off.
Well, the Indians again scoring late. They got 6 runs to win it in the 9th on Friday, 4 in the 8th to win yesterday. They've scored 5 runs in the 7th and 8th innings combined this afternoon to tie up the game at 9. Bottom of the 8th, John Valentin, Mo Vaughn, Rich Rowland due up against Julian Tavares, who's pitched 1 inning and allowed 1 run. He gave up 3 hits last inning, but the inning ended when Mayhay was picked off second. Well, Valentin is back at the plate. He was at the plate when the pickoff play happened. And again, Ossenmacher is warming up, so this might be the only batter of the inning for Tavares, with Vaughn on deck and the lefty ready in the Cleveland pen. To short, gobbled up by Vizquel. One out. Here comes Mo, and here comes Mike Hargrove. 32,339 the attendance here this afternoon. Most of them still here. Ball game well past the 3-hour mark now. 32,339 the attendance. The 4-game series with Cleveland drew a total of 109,543. So the attendance continues to be excellent here at Fenway, in contrast to many of the other outposts around Major League Baseball. And Ossenmacher will be summoned to become the 5th Cleveland pitcher of the ball game. Well, it isn't only here at Fenway that the Red Sox organization is involved in a wild game today. Pawtucket is up at Ottawa, finishing up its series with the Lynx. Pawtucket trailed 10-0 after 3 innings, and they're now tied at 10 after 5. Pawtucket got 5 runs in the 4th and 5 more in the 5th to tie the ball game at 10-10 after 5. Pat Lennon has homered for Pawtucket. And if you're up there in Ottawa watching the ball game and getting our telecast, you turn down the TV and just listen carefully, and you'll hear the organ playing here at Fenway Park. They have that organ on full volume today.
Ossenmacher on for, I have to think by looking at his numbers here, for what he's in this ball game to do right here. Retire a couple left-handers. Ossenmacher has not worked in this series. He is making his 6th appearance. No wins or losses, no record as of yet. He's worked just 3 1/3 inning those 5 previous appearances. Mostly zeros across his line, just 1 base on balls for the tall left-hander. He has struck out 6. And an important number, no hits given up in those 3 1/3 innings.
I think an important number for the Indians this season, the fact that they're faring well in the early season when the schedule works against them. They will play 19 of their first 28 games on the road. They've already played 14 road games. They're a very solid 9-5, 5-1 at home at Jacobs Field. So the schedule's going to swing around in favor of them when they catch up on the number of home games. And they're already 4 games in front of the AL Central. And looking at this team, Monty, and looking at the rest of that division, unless Chicago can pick it up, this Cleveland team could really run away in the AL Central, because Milwaukee, Kansas City, and Minnesota wouldn't seem to have anywhere near enough to contend with this club.
Well, I mentioned on Friday night, production comes from hitting the ball in the air, and these fellows can definitely hit it in the air. They can hit it a long way in the air.
As can this man, Mo Vaughn, who hit one in the air for a home run into the screen and left in the 4th off Jason Grimsley. It's his only hit in 3 official at-bats. He has also walked today. Batting with 1 out, bases empty, bottom of the 8th, 9-9 the score. Breaking ball straightened Mo up, and it missed. Julian Tavares pitched an inning and a 1/3, gave up 1 run on the nearing homer. He surrendered 3 hits and struck out 1. 1-1 the count now on Mo Vaughn. Strike two. Eric Plunk has just started throwing in the Cleveland bullpen. Rich Rowland is due up next. Given that Plunk has only thrown 3 or 4 pitches, you wouldn't think he'd be ready in time to work to Rowland, but perhaps he might. Hargrove might also take his chance with Ossenmacher against Rowland, with Greenwell coming up after Rowland. Rowland struggling with the bat. Ossenmacher's been around. He's a 34-year-old veteran, signed as a free agent by Cleveland on April 10th. Made more appearances over the last 5 years in the majors than any other pitcher. 335. Pitched last year for the White Sox. He's also pitched for the Yankees, Cubs, and Atlanta. Is 3-2 to the hit dog. Check swing and a bounding ball foul. Ossenmacher's from Allen Park, Michigan, in the Detroit area. Graduated from Aquinas College in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with a degree in business administration. Left-handed hitters hit only 200 against him last year. Mo swinging for the downs, just got a piece of it. And Baerga's hit 2 home runs today for Cleveland. Sorrento has hit 2, so it's only fair that the Red Sox have a batter hit 2 in this one. And Mo has a chance to do that with 1 swing here.
Still got the shift on him, even though he's facing the left-hander. He's less apt to pull it against Ossenmacher.
He's trying to pull it, and he strikes out for the second time this afternoon. 2 down in the 8th. 9-9 the score.
A steady diet of breaking balls really throughout this sequence, other than the 1 first fastball he threw Vaughn on the 3-2 count that he fouled down the third baseline. Other than that, breaking ball after breaking ball after breaking ball.
Mark Wiley at the mound, just discussing their approach to Rowland. Ossenmacher probably not very familiar with Rowland.
This was a scene that,
Number 12.
not with the same people involved, but kind of the same situation on Thursday night. Jim Poole was left in the game to face Mike McFarland. That's when McFarland lost the ball, and the Red Sox won that game 4-3. Also happened in the bottom of the 8th inning. As you said, Rowland has been getting an awful lot of playing time, not nearly as much as McFarland, but has the power to repeat that.
These 2 teams, particularly Cleveland, in danger of running through their pitching staff very quickly here this afternoon. I'd like to get some work from Ossenmacher. This game should go into extra innings. They don't have too many folks left out in that bullpen. Ossenmacher's the 5th pitcher of the game. Rowland to the right field corner. His first hit of the season is a fan interference double. So Ossenmacher stayed in to pitch to the right-handed hitting Rowland and gave up Rich's first hit of the season. He's now 1 for 15.
A lot of power. Big lumberjack will push this ball into deep right field. It'll hit just about at the edge of the grass, take 1 bounce, and a fan reaches over and touches it there. Ball's out of play. It looked like that ball's going to bounce up in the seats anyway. So it's a 2-base hit for Rich Rowland. He represents the go-ahead run.
With 2 outs in the 8th and a 9-9 game, Mike Greenwell singled and scored in the 2nd. Hit a 2-run homer, his first home run of the year in the 3rd. Bounced into a 3-6-3 double play in the 4th and flied to left against the left-hander Jim Poole in the 6th. Red Sox have 16 hits now. Greenwell couldn't check his swing. Red Sox need to win to stay 2.5 games ahead of the Yankees in the American League East. New York shut out Baltimore 5-0 at Yankee Stadium today. A complete game 4 hitter for Sterling Hitchcock. Grounded to second and scooped up by Baerga. The Red Sox leave Roland at second. On to the ninth. The Red Sox and Indians tied at 9.
Hello? Hi, Katie. What's up?
If your teenager's always on the phone, you may need another phone line. Or you could try something else. But why go to extremes? Get another phone line from 9X. Call 1-800-499-5200 to order now, and we'll install it free. That's a $37 savings in Massachusetts. And it sure beats the alternatives. 9X.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Hoover, nobody does it like you.
Toyota Summer Collection 95 is here, and your Toyota dealer has super deals on supermodels like the beautifully styled Tercel with dual airbags and a low starting price around $10,900. Plus, Tercel has factory-to-dealer incentives. It's a Toyota sales celebration, and a Corolla low $189 a month lease makes this the best time to get this benchmark of quality. Plus, there are factory-to-dealer incentives on Corolla. Supermodels, super deals at your Toyota dealer now.
Massachusetts may continue. On the next Real Stories of the Highway Patrol, a contract dispute sends mommy to the cleaners.
Oh, my God.
Real Stories of the Massachusetts Highway Patrol. Monday night at 7:30 on TV 38.
New pitcher for the Red Sox as we go to the top of the ninth inning will be right-hander Jeff Pierce. Jeff worked in yesterday's ball game in relief of Rael Cormier. Faced 6 batters. Won an inning in 2/3. 10 hits on the year and 14 innings of work. No wins and a loss. Base on balls and strikeouts about on an even kill there. A little bit too many base on balls, obviously, for the number of innings, the 14 innings for Jeff.
He's the 5th pitcher for the Red Sox. And the previous 3 out of the bullpen all surrendered at least 1 run. Van Egmond, Belinda, and Ryan. Carlos Baerga, the big man today for Cleveland. He and Paul Sorrento have carried the Cleveland offense. Each has hit 2 home runs. Baerga, a solo homer in the first. Lukey homer off the glove of Witten. And they need a 2-run homer off Van Egmond and knocked him out of the ball game in the 7th. 2 strikeouts, his first 2 strikeouts of the year, sandwiched in between. Little lob down the left field line. That is a fair ball. And a double, apparently touched by a fan, was, as you see. So the Indians have the go-ahead run in scoring position. The lead man on in the 9th. And another bloop hit for Baerga in this series. He's had a bunch of them.
Or finding a way, just finding a way to get it someplace where nobody can get a glove on it. Ball took 1 bounce up into the seats and a souvenir for that fan, and the 4th double of the year for Baerga. A leadoff double.
His 3rd hit, all for extra bases. Ken Ryan pitched 1 inning, allowed 2 hits and 1 run on the homer by Sorrento, and he struck out 1. Albert Bell, 1 for 4, a 3rd inning single to center. That was against the starter Eric Hansen. Hansen left with the score 8-4 Red Sox, but the bullpen couldn't protect it, and he won't pick up a win today. 1 strike on Bell. I mentioned the Yankees beat Baltimore 5-0. 5-12-0 for New York, 0-4-0 for Baltimore. Sterling Hitchcock, the complete game 4 hitter, now 2-2. Ben McDonald took the loss, 0-1. Randy Velarde hit his first home run. Bell, right center. O'Leary and Mayhay. Mayhay, a great backhand catch. And on the play, Baerga moves to third. An even better catch than it appeared when you consider the fact that Mayhay and O'Leary spent a long time looking at each other before either of them took charge. For a few seconds there, it looked like a collision was a distinct possibility.
Look at the ground that Mayhay is covering here as he comes across. He's got to go across his body, being a left-hand thrower. It sticks that glove out, makes the catch. Nothing he can do about preventing Baerga from going to third, but he certainly prevented him from scoring, at least till now. Or so far, I should say.
The Red Sox are going to intentionally walk Eddie Murray. They don't gain anything in terms of facing a right-handed hitter because it's Thome on deck, but they will set up a double play possibility. We've also seen Kevin Kennedy already this year walk the bases loaded. After Thome, Manny Ramirez would be the hitter. Well, Murray is intentionally walked, put runners at first and third. The Red Sox infield is in. Now Kennedy is going to come to the mound and discuss the situation.
Well, the big decision for Kennedy now. Murray had not been swinging the bat well in this series. Matter of fact, didn't even look decent swinging the bat. What you've done now, you got yourself in kind of a jackpot. If you play for the double play and you don't turn it, you give up the go-ahead run with only 3 outs to try to get that back. If you play the infield in, it doesn't make much sense to have played the infield in with Thome coming up there if you're going to walk Eddie Murray. I would rather have the infield in with Murray hitting than with Thome hitting. So I got to assume that he's going to play everybody back here for the double play, and you run the risk, as I mentioned, of not turning the double play and giving up the go-ahead run. I'm not sure I want to do anything. I can stay away from getting to Ramirez if at all possible.
Well, they're going to play the infield in, it appears.
Number 25.
And the point you raised is a good one. I mean, makes it a lot. Well, they're going to play it halfway. Valentin and Shumpert are backing up.
Yeah, but a lot of times, if you're going to play halfway, then you really can't expect to turn the double play. Looks like they're going to be back at regular depth here now.
Well, that makes sense, because walking Murray doesn't make any sense if you're going to play the infield in, as you pointed out. Thome extended his hitting streak to 13 games with a double off the wall in left center. He scored on a single by Ramirez last inning. First and third and 1 out in a 9-9 game in the top of the 9th. Thome takes ball 1 outside. He does not run well. He has hit into 1 double play this year. He's also prone to the strikeout. He's whiffed 3 times today. And 21 times this season. That's a Cleveland club high. Ball 2. 2-0. Right-handed hitting Manny Ramirez is on deck. There's no action in the Boston bullpen. Crowd very quiet. Anxious moment for the Red Sox. Count now 3-0 on Thome.
Well, Pierce has done all he could do except throw a strike trying to get Thome to hit the ball into the ground. Every pitch he's thrown him has been just about mid-shin high.
After the last one, Rich Rowland had his head turned halfway around, chatting to Larry McCoy, the home plate umpire. He had the green light on 3-0 and fouled it away. The only 2 members of the Red Sox bullpen still out there, Derek Lilliquist and Alejandro Pena. And both have been throwing. Now the 3-1. Fouled away. Pierce has battled from 3-0 to a full count with Thome.
Well, Pierce does have a solid number of strikeouts in those 14 innings. He does have 11 strikeouts, and as you mentioned, Thome does strike out a lot. Obviously need to keep the ball out of play here.
Now the fans who were holding their breath a moment ago trying to spur on Jeff Pierce to the strikeout of Thome. It would be the 4th whiff of the afternoon for the Cleveland third baseman. 3-2 pitch. Fouled away. Looked like Pierce took something off it. Detroit beat Toronto today. 2-1 in the final. They got 2 in the 7th to win it. Another 3-2 to Thome. Well hit. Right field. O'Leary at the wall. Can't get it. Baerga scores. Murray to third. It's a double for Thome. His second in as many innings. And the Indians lead 10-9.
Thome, excuse me. Hits that high fastball, just about let her high, and he nails it. Looked like for a second, the Red Sox would have gotten a break here. Baerga knows that he can go. He's going to tag and score easily. Murray couldn't tell if that ball was going to be caught. Thought the Red Sox may have gotten a bad break by that ball staying in play. I thought Murray may have had a shot at scoring on that, but it stays in play. He only got the third anyway.
Infield in. Ramirez at the plate. He looks at strike one. Ramirez 1 for 4, an RBI single last inning. That brought the Indians within 2 runs. Then Ramirez scored on the home run by Sorrento that tied the game at 9. Cleveland scored a run here in the 9th off Pierce to take the lead. 2 doubles and an intentional walk. 2 men in scoring position with 1 out. Paul Sorrento is on deck. The bullpen has been a disaster for the 3rd straight day for the Red Sox. Indians have scored a total of 6 runs from the 7th inning on in this one. It doesn't matter on whom Kevin Kennedy calls these days. None of them are getting the job done.
They've gone from that being one of their strong suits in the early goings when the short run of starting pitching was a must because of the shortened spring training. It's gone just the opposite.
And undoubtedly some of that is they're facing probably the best hitting club in the league in Cleveland, but still. Waving swing and a miss for strike 2. 2-2. The Red Sox will need to score. In the bottom of the 9th, they have Naring, O'Leary, and Hasselman due up. Looks like Jose Mesa is warming up again in the Cleveland bullpen. The 2-2. Line to hit. Murray scores. Thome scores. 12-9 Cleveland. Ramirez lined a 2-2 pitch into right. The Bluebirds out in earnest now at Fenway, and understandably so. Ramirez has knocked in 3 runs in the last 2 innings. Kevin Kennedy on his way to the mound. Pierce on the hook for the loss unless the Red Sox mount a big comeback in the bottom of the 9th. Alejandro Pena will be the new pitcher. So the decision to intentionally walk Murray didn't pay off. I agree with what you said about the fact that he hasn't been swinging a hot bat. Made that a somewhat suspect move. But when these guys are pitching the way they are, it's tough to find fault with anything Kevin Kennedy does.
Well, they're kind of going into some of the power points of some of these Cleveland hitters. I mentioned earlier about how effective Ramirez seemed to be on pitches that are from the middle of the plate out. Once again, that pitch from Pierce with a 2-2 count was out over the plate, and Ramirez just reached right over it and hammers it into right field.
Now, pitching for the Red Sox, number 26.
Catcher set up inside, but the pitch misses way toward the outer third of the plate, and Ramirez lines it into right, driving in Murray and Tomey. And the Indians, another multiple run inning, and they just do not know when to turn their bats off. They just keep going and going and going. Ever ready, indeed. So the Red Sox will go to the bullpen once again. This time it's Alejandro Pena. Pena worked in yesterday's ball game, picking up that one loss that he has against the one win. 4.61 earned run average for the big right-hander. He was charged with 3 earned runs yesterday on 3 hits in the 1/3 of an inning he pitched. That drove that earned run average up to the 4.61. Albert Bell hit that home run off Pena yesterday that hit into the brick area under the Gillette sign in straightaway center field here. For Pena, that was the second home run he'd given up this year.
We mentioned that Detroit beat Toronto 2-1. The Tigers had 2 runs on 4 hits and an error. The Toronto Blue Jays 1 run, 5 hits and no errors. Joe Baber was the winner in relief of Sean Bergman. He's 2-0. Danny Cox took the loss 0-1. And Mike Henneman saved it his third. No home runs in that ball game. They had 19,000 and change at Tiger Stadium. And Seattle has defeated Minnesota 5-2. Randy Johnson now 4-0 with the win. Bobby Ayala saved it his 5th, and Kevin Tapani took the loss. He's 2-2. Pedro Munoz hit a solo homer off Johnson, the only home run in that ball game, his 5th of the year. And they had 12,000 and change at Minnesota, where the attendance has been very low. Paul Sorrento. He hit the home run last inning with a man aboard that tied the game at 9. He's had 2 homers and 2 walks, has driven in 3 and has scored 3. And he's batting with Ramirez at first. Still only 1 out and 3 runs in here in the 9th. The Indians lead 12-9. In the last 2 games, it was the 1 big inning for the Indians. 4 in the 8th yesterday, 6 in the 9th Friday. Today, they've spread it out over the last 3 innings. 2 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, and 3 more here in the 9th. One ball, 1 strike. Jeff Pierce pitched a 1/3 of an inning. With 3 runs on 3 hits and an intentional walk. He is responsible for Ramirez. He is the pitcher of record. Ossenmacher stands to be the winner for Cleveland. Double play ball. Shumpert, Valentin, Vaughn. But it might be a bit too late. The Indians get 3 in the 9th. And the bottom of the 9th is upcoming with Naring, O'Leary, and Hasselman due up for the Red Sox. Cleveland leads by a field goal.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's all plain to see that the land is pure, untamed and free. There's no place that I'd rather be. So come on along and head for the mountains of Bush. Here, head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth, and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush. Here.
even though it's shorter on the outside. We designed the new Cavalier to be the roomiest car in its class on the inside. In fact, we gave it so much more room that it moved up to a larger EPA class. Well, fortunately, they can't make us give it a big price. After all, the new Cavalier is a genuine Chevrolet.
The new pitcher and the new closer for the Cleveland Indians is Jose Mesa. You notice that 4-save mark there. That is a career high in saves for Mesa. As a matter of fact, twice as many saves as he had in his major league career coming into this season. 1-0 on the year there. Major league total of 34 wins and 45 losses. Mesa making his 10th appearance of the year for the Indians. He's walked 4, struck out 9, the league hitting .250 against the big right-hander.
Over the last 3 games of the series, Cleveland has scored 19 runs on 18 hits from the 7th inning on. They've scored 8 runs from the 7th inning on today against Kevin Kennedy's beleaguered bullpen. Red Sox have Naring, O'Leary, and Hasselman due up in the 9th.
Now batting for the Red Sox.
Again today, the bullpen will be the focus, but the Red Sox have squandered a lot of opportunities to score, more than the 9 runs they have on the board. Left 8 men on base, with a man picked off, and have hit into 3 double plays. Naring, lacking only the triple to hit for the cycle today. He singled, doubled, walked, and scored, and hit a home run. Fouled the first one away to the right. Ossenmacher for Cleveland pitched 2/3 of an inning without allowing a run. He gave up 1 hit and struck out 1. And he will pick up his first win as a member of the Indians if Mesa can protect the lead.
Little whisker shave here for Naring from Mesa. Up under the chin. Tim wrenching that back to get out of the way.
One-two pitch, low and away. Bud Black started for Cleveland, then Jason Grimsley, Jim Poole, Julian Tavares, Paul Ossenmacher, now Jose Mesa. Naring down the line, just fouled past third. Red Sox have also used 6 pitchers today: Eric Hansen, Tim Van Egmond, Stan Belinda, Ken Ryan, Jeff Pierce, and Alejandro Pena. Cleveland has 12 runs on 17 hits and 2 errors. The Red Sox 9 runs, 16 hits, and 1 error. Full count. Naring trying to reach base for the 5th time today. He has had an outstanding start from game 1 through the present. One toward the gap in left center. That will scoot through to the wall. Naring has his 4th hit. He's on base for the 5th time. He's 4 for 4. It's his 2nd double.
Pretty good bat all the way around for Tim Naring. After being knocked down, he was down in the count 1 ball and 2 strikes, and finally worked the count to 3-2 and did not miss the fastball once again. I don't think he has missed a fastball in the last 4 or 5 ball games. He gets the heater, he's right on it.
7th double of the ball game for the Red Sox. They had 4 in the first 2 innings. 7 doubles, the American League high by 1 team in the game this year. 17 hits now, matches the Red Sox season high. The 3rd 4-hit game of Tim Naring's career. Troy O'Leary, the batter, First ball swinging, high drive, left center. Bell at the wall, can't get it. Naring had a hold up. He'll stop at third. O'Leary has a double. And the tying run is coming to the plate with nobody out in the ninth inning for the Red Sox.
This ball kept getting blown by the wind. The wind continues to just rush toward the left field wall. See that ball well out of the reach of Albert Bell. Naring can't tell at this point here. Now he goes, and being 3 runs down and nobody out, no place for him to go but 90 feet when he could not judge whether the ball was going to be caught or not. Troy O'Leary with the 8th double for the Red Sox, and obviously that's now a major league high.
It is.
In doubles for one game.
And O'Leary is a doubling machine. He's doubled in 4 straight games and in 5 straight games here at Fenway. Mark Wiley out to chat with Mesa. Reggie Jefferson is going to bat for Bill Hasselman. Hasselman had a productive day, drove in a couple of runs. Now Jefferson, the tying run at the plate. 12-9, Cleveland has the lead. Nobody out, 2 men in scoring position. Ron Mayhay is on deck. Mesa missed low. Jefferson hitting .241, 7 for 29 this year. No homers, 3 runs batted in. He's 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter. High fly ball. Left field, Bell at the scoreboard makes the catch. Naring tags and comes on to score. It's a 2-run game, 12-10. Jefferson is his 4th RBI, and he didn't miss by much. Just missed that pitch.
Well, if you can control it at all, what you want to do is get that ball headed toward the left field wall today as that wind continues to stream. Didn't quite get enough of that one to get it up off the board with the aid of the wind. Naring easily scores from third on the sacrifice fly, and the Red Sox are 2 down.
Ron Mayhay had an eventful major league debut. He's 2 for 4 with the bat. Doubled in his first major league at bat down the right field line to knock in a run in the second. He scored in an inning. He singled to center field in the 7th. Made a fine running catch in the outfield. He's also been picked off second base. 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the order, Terry Shumpert on deck. Tell where that one missed. Cleveland 12, Boston 10. 1 out in the 9th. O'Leary at second. The 2-1 to Mayhay. Chop to the right side. Sorrento to Mesa for the out. O'Leary to third, but now the Red Sox are down to their final out. And the Red Sox have used every position player available to them today, with the exception of Luis Alicea.
Terry Shumpert.
Terry Shumpert trying to keep the Red Sox alive. He's the tying run at the plate. 2 for 5 today. A double that drove in a run in the second. He scored in the second. He singled to left in the 7th. First base box seats. Down to third, big hop, but Tomey stayed with it, and Cleveland wins the ball game. And they win the final 3 games of this series. Final score today, 12-10 Indians. Totals and more from Fenway in a moment.
There's a lot to like at your Ford dealer, like America's best-selling car, Ford Taurus. And for a limited time, get $1,500 cash back on Taurus. $1,500 cash back could mean no money down. Hey! Find out what you like about $1,500 cash back on Taurus. Hurry to your New England Ford dealer today. Hey!
Massachusetts native Paul Sorrento is our Budweiser player of the game. 2 for 3 this afternoon. Both his hits of the round-trip variety. Homers number 7 and 8 on the year. He drove in 3. He also scored 3. Congratulations to Paul Sorrento. Beechwood-aged Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
The totals for this slugfest on a Sunday afternoon at Fenway for Cleveland: 12 runs, 17 hits, and 2 errors. They left only 5 men on base. The Red Sox, 10 runs, 18 hits, and 1 error. They stranded 9. Paul Ossenmacher, the winner, his first decision as a member of the Cleveland Indians, is his 4th American League win. Jeff Pierce took the loss. He's 0-2, and Jose Mesa saved it his 5th. Time of the ball game, a lengthy 3 hours and 48 minutes. Some of it excruciating for the Red Sox and their fans. 32,339 the attendance this afternoon. So the Red Sox have lost 3 in a row. Cleveland has won 3 straight. Final score of today's game: Cleveland 12, Boston 10. This is the TV 38 Red Sox Network.
Take notes. The purpose of this training, study